Hey people, my name is Clinton John Leon, and here are some thoughts I had on Tucker Carlson's interview with Matt Walsh that came out on Friday. I was excited to see it, so I was like, oh, I've definitely got to check this out. A lot of people did. So, Tucker Carlson begins by calling Matt Walsh amazing for coming on the show. While discussing his reasons for coming on the show, Matt makes a sincere statement concerning the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He says that Charlie was a cohesive figure on the right, and he thinks the right lacks a unity that it had before. Here's his statement on that.
And so now this guy who was this, I think to an extent that none of us fully realized, was the glue that was holding everything together on the right, holding this whole crazy coalition together. It turns out it was like one guy who was doing this, and his organization, which is still around, who have a lot of respect for TPUSA. And I think they're doing the absolute best they can in the face of this. I mean, I can't even imagine being in the spot that they're in. But he was the leader of the organization. He was a leader of the conservative movement. He was the glue. And now he's gone, and it kind of feels like everything's coming undone, to be honest with you.
It is actually understandable that Matt Walsh would have to have a personal conviction to be interviewed by someone who has fairly recently also interviewed Russian President Vladimir Putin and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian. He has certainly been given other advice, namely he should publicly disavow Tucker. Here's that.
Denounce, condemn, disavow. Okay, that is very specifically, that's what I've heard.
For a right-wing conservative, America First podcaster to go on a show that regularly platforms heads of states of geopolitical adversaries to the United States, he would have to have at least one blind spot. He does. Matt Walsh has repeatedly said that he doesn't care about or discuss much in way of international politics. Matt actually goes so far as to invoke a kind of bro code, saying no matter what Tucker has said, he sees him as an ally on the right. Matt uses the analogy of having a brother who is also a serial killer. He says that he would not publicly denounce him. He sets the bar extremely high. On the other hand, if you're on the left, he has a feature he calls Our Daily Cancellation, and you might find yourself berated, ridiculed, and canceled by him and his fans, the Sweet Baby Gang, on any given weekday. So, with this analogy, Tucker is almost certainly not as bad as a serial killer relation. Generally, Matt Walsh would not publicly denounce almost anyone on the American conservative right or his brother. Does Tucker realize that he's being compared to a serial killer in this scenario? His response is borderline gleeful. Probably because he's got that in the bag, not duper's delight. Before Matt says that if his brother confessed to murdering 40 people, he would turn his brother in, Tucker makes a suggestion. Here's that.
Your brother. What if he murders someone? What if he becomes an axe murderer? Yeah. Well, then you would disavow him and condemn him, wouldn't you?
No, I'd get him a fake passport.
He suggests what he thinks is a clear and obvious response. He wouldn't turn his brother in, he'd get him a fake passport. Maybe a joke? To get him out of the country, possibly to Doha, Qatar, where he recently bought a safe house. What kind of associates is Tucker keeping these days, really? I understand it's been a long time since he was in Sunday school, but come on. We should treat others as we would like to be treated, but would he expect the same treatment from anyone else? Matt says it might cross his mind to help his brother escape justice, but as he has argued over and over again, Matt Walsh believes in justice and in the use of violence to achieve justice. Tucker admits quietly that Matt is probably right. Probably. Justice. Reminds me of something I heard in church one time. This gives us a clear picture into Tucker's mind, maybe into his soul, maybe clearer than he wanted to give. He inserts a lot of short, unjustified statements into his interviews. It's interesting to note them, it's hard to keep track of them, and they definitely have an effect. The idea here is that Tucker could have done far worse and Matt would still talk to him. Certainly, being asked questions in an interview format is something he is quite comfortable doing and does well at. So now he's on the show, he's listening. So Tucker, now that Matt has set his limits, so to speak, do you have anything you'd like to get off your chest? When Tucker pivots to Israel's war against Hamas, Matt doesn't go for it. He reaffirms his uncharacteristically terse opinion. He doesn't care. Here's that.
Well, I mean, so this is where we can be friends on the same side and disagree, because, I wouldn't agree with everything you've just laid out there. I think now, last time we talked a little bit about Israel, and my take at the time was I really don't care.
Right.
I just don't care. I honestly don't care.
I want that take bad.
Yeah,
I don't want to care. I don't want anything to do with this.
That's still my take. That's always been my take. It upsets people on both. This is one legitimately on both sides of the Israel issue.
That makes sense. He occupies himself with American issues in the United States of America and what Americans should do and what Americans should think. Matt can see that cohesion on the American right comes from their shared vision of what life, values, and justice should look like within the United States of America. Beyond that, on issues of foreign policy or war in particular, opinions and issues tend to divide the right. Walsh shows that he understands the structures of the arguments used in those debates, but he doesn't care about them. Thankfully, Tucker doesn't keep pressing this. Overall, this interview is far more effective when Tucker focuses on American issues and American examples. That is Matt Walsh's specialization. You might not agree with what he thinks, but he is very clear in expressing what he thinks when he expresses himself on those topics. He believes violence has a role in the pursuit of justice and openly confesses that he tempers his desire for violent justice by practicing Christian values. He is anti-abortion. He votes Republican. He believes in law and order. He believes that deportation should be actively pursued. He speaks clearly, logically, and justifies his beliefs on the moral grounds of his Christian faith. Once the interview gets on track, and I'm glad it did, it's interesting. There are some thoughts and observations, so please do like, comment, and subscribe. It's been interesting to read people's thoughts. I have been a media artist for a while, and I've started posting videos again, different than before, but if you saw my analysis of the video of the September 2nd U.S. Navy strike on the Venezuelan Tren de Aragua traffickers, you would have known there was an issue with that strike way, way before everybody else did. See you soon.